Can you remember how long it took to clear Sheffield from the bomb damage?
No, I can recall, that's another thing that I also remember my grandfather, who worked for the Rotherham Council Water Department. He were a navvy, and I remember being at my grandmother's, and he was away from home for days and days on end, because they took everybody up to Sheffield to repair water mains and things like that. And he, for example, he were missing for like weeks on end, because they kept him up there and housed him there because there were that much damage. And I remember we used to have a tram service go right through Oak Valley from Rotherham up into Sheffield, and I remember my dad taking me up to Sheffield and taking us along with what they called the moor, which were all the shopping centre, and it was just flat. They were just couldn't. I remember clearly walking into Sheffield city centre, and very few buildings were left. It was just rubble, and of course they'd started clearing things away then, and the roads were able to. But he went for down roads and streets and just complete rubble all over the place. It got a real bombing. Rotherham Sheffield Valley, iron and steel, were a mammoth area of engineering, steelworks, and for the war effort must have been terrific. Because I mean, my dad were in steelworks. I mean, he worked 12-hour days. He'd go on at 6 o'clock at night, not come home till 12 o'clock next dinner time. They worked the hours. There were no set hours. They worked whilever they wanted them in war years to get stuff out, and they missed it all. And really, I mean, Sheffield were a mess. And these were cities, this were another thing, there were cities like Hull and Coventry and Glasgow, and all these were really heavily bombed. And Hull, they went after docks, and in Glasgow they went after docks or whatever industry they had there. And they must have gone after industry in Sheffield area. But complete. It's still a mystery how on an earth that they went all the way up that barrack and then dropped all their bombs on Sheffield city centre and district.
You'd moved into a new house. Can you remember when that was?
Yeah, 1948. We lived in a little terraced house. We lived in a yard with 5 other people. And it was community. People helped one another, you know, and took care of one another. Didn't used to lock any doors because they got nothing to take, so nobody did out like that. And then in 48, we got, I remember my dad coming home and says, "Hey, I've got them." And he held up the keys, and when we got the new house, we couldn't, it was a palace, because we had a bathroom and we had a toilet and upstairs, and we had a toilet downstairs, and we had a garden, and a big cooking stove, and compared with a few years before, and you learn more about this as you got older, and you were able to discuss it with people and read about it, and go into archives, your local libraries, and read about it, and different experiences of people. They had the ARP people who took a really big part, because there was a lot of incendiaries dropped, but they managed to get a lot of incendiaries out, which helped to get them out before bombers come after the dropped incendiaries. But even Rotherham town were missed, Doncaster were missed. But Sheffield did get really hammered.